Back for pocket technique number 6, a series of techniques where we just open up an image and we don't even know what we're going to do. We just do it on the fly. This particular image, I think I have an idea about where I'm going to go with this. I've already gone ahead and done a supersaturated layer using the lab and curves dialog box that I've shown in other tutorials. So refer back to the tutorial to how to supersaturate an image, and I've gone ahead and supersaturated this one, and that's with and that's without it. But you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a multiply blending mode on this particular image, and I really like the way it really brought out the deep blue sky. However, you know, it's really I've lost a lot of detail in the shadows and no highlights whatsoever. So I'm going to compromise by bringing down the opacity on this particular layer and see if we can't get back some of the shadows and details. So I'm going to reduce the opacity back down to around 55%, and I still need to bring in some of those highlights and lessen those shadow areas. I like the golden grass, and I still have to maintain some of the greenness in this area in particular. So it's looking good, but it still needs some work. So the way we'll bring back some of those details is we're going to create a layer mask to mask out some of that multiplying layer here. So I've chosen a brush, and I've got my opacity. Let me set my opacity to around 65%, somewhere thereabouts. I've got black as my default color because, you know, black conceals and white reveals, and white is revealing the whole layer. We want to conceal some of it. So let's start with the foreground and increase my brush size, and let's see if I can bring back some of the highlights in this area. That's looking good right there. And alright, and let's do the same thing up on the tree area. Reduce the size of the brush and bring back some of the detail in here also, and some of the highlights in the trees. Looking good so far. Okay, looking good. Alright, now if I really wanted to accentuate some of the highlights, I can do that, and I can use this mask right here to help me along with it. What I'm going to do is create another adjustment layer, and this time using levels. When the levels dialog box comes up, I'm just going to click OK and do nothing. Now what I'm going to use is I'm going to use this mask right here, because that's already got the areas masked that I want to highlight, but it's got them in reverse. So what I'll do is hold down my Alt key, and I'll drag this mask up to the levels mask, and it'll ask me, do you want to replace the layer mask? And I'm going to say yes. And then I'm going to hold down my Control key and the letter I to invert that mask. Now anything I do with the levels will be affected in the highlight areas that we masked out. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see what it's doing to the highlight areas here. Okay. And this really has almost the effect of sharpening, because what it really is doing is bringing up the contrast between the shadow pixels and the highlight pixels, and it gives the illusion of sharpness. And I can control that with the midtones right here. And that's looking good right there. And that's what I've got. Let's see. And I'll click OK. So let's see what it is without this. That's without. And that's without our supersaturated. Okay. So let's bring it all back together. And let's see what we had before and after. When I opened up the picture, that's what I had, and that's what I have now. A little bit more gooder, I'd say. Thank you.